Let me share a quick story that might sound familiar to you. A few months ago, I was working on a project for a global e-commerce platform. We started with three types of users: buyers, sellers, and admins. Creating objects for these types manually was simple and straightforward, but then more requirements started piling up: guest users, moderators, premium members, and even regional managers. Suddenly, my code base was full of conditions, copy paste logic, and unpredictable bugs. It was like adding patches to a leaky board. Fix one issue and two more pop up. So that's when my teammate introduced me to the factory design pattern. And let me tell you, it completely changed how I approach the problem. Today, I'll walk you through what it is, why it works, and how you can use it to make your code more flexible, scalable, and more importantly, bug free. So let's get started. So let's try to understand this better through code. Imagine you are building an app for a pizza shop. So you need to create different objects for different pizza types like veggie pizza, pepperoni pizza, and cheese pizza. At first, you might think it's simple. Just create separate classes and create different objects manually. Pretty simple, right? So let's see how that will look in code. So this is how it will look like if we create separate classes for each pizza type, like cheese pizza, and we have a prepare method. Same for the pepperoni pizza and a veggie pizza. And in our main code, when we want to create different types of pizza, we instantiate each object separately. To start with, this works totally fine. There is no issue at all. But what happens when we want to add new pizza type, or when customer can choose dynamically what pizza he wants? At that point, it gets a little messy. So let's try to understand what I mean by that. So for example, instead of predefining what pizza we want at the compile time, say we get a user input for the pizza type. In this case, it's a pepperoni pizza. Now, if we want to create pizza based on the user input, what we will do? If input is equals to pepperoni, then return pepperoni pizza. Elif if input equal to veggie, then return veggie pizza. You get what I mean, right? And similarly, elif input equal. So we return cheese pizza. Else print no valid pizza. Okay. So there are three main problems. The one is it is tightly coupled. Let me remove this. Here we are calling the pepperoni pizza in our main code. Same the veggie pizza. What if we wanna change the name of the class, or what if we wanna discontinue the veggie pizza? Every time we wanna make some changes, we'll have to edit or modify our main code, which is not a good way to write modular and scalable code. The second one is if we add more pizza types, our if else statements grows and it becomes a complete mess. For 3, it's fine, but for example, if our pizza shop grows and we add 10 more pizza types, that will result in a complete disaster to maintain the code and if else conditions and whatnot. The third thing is it's very hard to scale. Adding new pizza means changing code at multiple places. So for example, here, we'll have to create a new class. We'll have to modify the code everywhere we have explicitly calling that class. So you know that it's not the very good approach to write the scalable and maintainable code. So to solve this, we have the factory design pattern. It's some sort of a factory. So we don't have to explicitly say pepperoni pizza or veggie pizza. Imagine it's like you are the pizza shop owner. Every time a customer places an order for a veggie pizza, it will be very hectic for you if you go into the kitchen, prepare the pizza, and serve to that customer table. Instead, what if you hire a chef which knows how to prepare each pizza? All you have to do is take the order from the customers and just tell the chef that prepare me this pizza. And it's the duty of the chef to give you that pizza. So it makes your life very easy. That's exactly what we do in the factory design pattern. So as the name suggests, we have the factory which takes all the responsibility of creating different objects. You name it and the factory will manufacture it for you. So let's try to understand this through code. So we have the base class pizza, which has this prepare method, which will be overridden by the subclasses. And we have different classes for each pizza type. Say, for example, cheese pizza, which extends pizza class, and same with the pepperoni pizza and the veggie pizza. Now we also have the pizza factory. It handles all the conditional logic for us. So for example, in our main code, we don't have to worry about which class to call. All we have to do is we call the pizza factory and ask it to create the pizza based on the user input. And it's the duty of the pizza factory to figure out which pizza to create and how to create it. So for example, here we want a pepperoni pizza. So all we do is call the pizza factory, call its create pizza method, and give the user input pepperoni. So let's look at the pizza factory class, what it does. So we have the static method create pizza, which has the if else statement. So why this is a good code? So let's go back for a moment and think of the three problems we had. The one is the tight coupling. So now in our main code, we do not have any tight coupling to any of our pizza class. All we do is call the pizza factory. So in future, if you wanna discontinue the veggie pizza, all we have to do is edit the pizza factory and remove the veggie pizza class. And that's it. Our main code stays as it is. Or if you wanna rename the classes or modify the classes, it all will be taken care in the pizza factory itself. So we have solved the tight coupling problem. Now let's look at the messy code. So we don't have a real mess in our main or the client code. All we call is a pizza factory, and all the logic or all the conditions for creating pizzas and any customization lies in the pizza factory. So that is a very good approach because we now have a neat and clean code, and that requires very less maintenance because every time we want to change something, we have to modify the pizza factory and not the main code. Let's look at the third one, which is hard to scale. So now with the factory design pattern, our code is now very easy to scale because our main code stay as it is. And every time we want to add new pizza or modify the classes, we do at the pizza factory level and we do not go beyond that. Our main code stays as it is, and that gives us the flexibility to extend the code very easily and customize the code as we want. So now if the user wants to create a pizza, you just call the factory and let it do its thing. Your main code stays clean and focuses on the logic and not how the pizzas are created. So with the factory design pattern, we have centralized the object creation in the pizza factory class. And our main code is decoupled from how the objects are created compared to when we are not using the factory design pattern. So now you have seen how the factory pattern simplifies object creation and makes your code foolproof and future proof as well. Before we go off, I would like to tell you at what scenarios you'd like to use the factory design pattern. For example, like we saw in the pizza shop, suppose you want to create a course website where you have different types of courses. So the factory design pattern can be an ideal choice. Or suppose you have an e-commerce shop where you have different types of products or different types of orders. Let me tell you a story. I was working at this pharmaceutical company where they had different types of orders. One can be the medicine order, one can be the lab test order, one can be consultation order. So all these orders were being created through the factory design pattern. So at times where you feel that there are some similar types of objects with slightly different implementation and logic needs to be created, and in future you might add more of them or more similar types of objects, think of the factory design pattern as your first choice. So I hope you understand how factory design pattern makes your life easy, and I hope you'll use this in your own project. And the next time you see the factory design pattern in your code, don't panic because you know what it is and how to use it. See you in the next video.